as you're standing here with me, I just want to, actually, no, there. We wanted to make a gift to the church.
I just want to present the Holy Quran, which is the best gift a Muslim can get.
Yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful. All right. So, Hillhurst, remember that, how was the line of sight? Should we move this pulpit? Thanks, Kurt. Great. All right. So, Hillhurst, remember that we are in week 3 of a series called How Then Shall We Live? And last week you heard from your board chair, Terry Rock. I listened to the reflection yesterday, and you all were deeply blessed last week, hey? Great conversation about community, what it takes to be in community together, and how our spirituality and religion can be a good part of that work. And for this week and next week, we're going to talk about the reality that there are multiple paths and there are multiple faiths with similarities and differences, and given that plurality and the diversity, how then shall we live? So I just wanted to open just with some scripture from our holy book, both the Old Testament and the New Testament, that references some of this path walking, and how as people on the journey, people on the path, we're invited to be a part of that. This is from Proverbs 4. It says, "The path of those who love God is like the light of dawn, which shines brighter and brighter until full day." From Psalm 25, "Make me to know your ways, O Lord, teach me your paths." And from Jeremiah 6, it says, "Thus says the Lord, stand by the roads and look, and ask for the ancient paths, where the good way is, and walk in this. And there you will find rest for your souls." How is life, Mom?
Life is a blessing and a wonderful gift of God. It's wonderful. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. And we're glad that you're here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's open up just by telling the church a little bit about the path that you have walked to come to this place of being a religious cleric and a leader.
I mean, it is in our blood. Our faith is in our blood, and throughout the known history of my ancestry, we have been always serving our religion, faith, Islam, and because through our blood also we are related to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And so the history tells me that all my ancestors, they were all clergy. They have all served faith, and they all have their own professions to earn their bread. So it is in our blood. So I was not called for Islam. I was born as a Muslim, and I grew up among people of clergy. My father was an imam of the mosque, as well as he was a school teacher. And so it is in our blood, and we cannot stop serving our faith.
Beautiful. I don't know if the church heard that, but Imam Syed is a professional engineer, and that's how he earns his bread and butter, and volunteers all his work. He volunteers. How about the church hearing that?
A lot of people think that, yes, I went in our family tradition, I had to go to Islamic school first, right? So we went to get our religious education, and then I went to school, just like any other school, and I had my grade 11, 12, and after that I went to university, and I have 4 degrees in engineering, by the way. It's not just one. Basically, I'm an electrical engineer. From Pakistan, where I was born and raised. But my whole life is in outside Pakistan, in North America, in Pakistan. And then I studied in the United States. I did my master's in industrial management from NJIT in New Jersey. And then I did my second master's from the University of Calgary in project management. So
you're well trained.
I work as an IT consultant, and that's what brings pay my bills.
And in the religious tradition, you are a Sunni Muslim.
Yes, we are Sunni Muslims, and within Sunni Muslims, and this is very important, Reverend, that people have to understand. I mean, these terrorists, they are claiming to be Sunni Muslims too. So people get very confused. He says, Imam Soharwardy, you are against this terrorism. You speak up against terrorism and you walk across the country and against violence. And you're Sunni Muslim. And these ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, they also say we are Sunni Muslim. So what's going on?
What is going on?
So that is true. I mean, these people call themselves Sunni Muslims. But within the Sunni school of thought, just like Christian faith, there is Protestant and Catholic, Muslims are divided into Shias and Sunnis. And these are two big denominations. And within Sunni school of thought, we have different traditions or different sects, if you call it. So we follow the Sufi tradition. And Sufism is the mysticism of Islam. And it has been, I mean, Sufi tradition within the Sunni Muslims had been the major, overwhelming portion of Muslims have been Sunni Muslims, what we call Sunni Muslims, right? But unfortunately, within the last 170, 50 years, the Sufi tradition of Islam has been on the decline, and the Salafi tradition, which is basically the Saudi version of interpretation of Islam, has been on the rise. And we will talk about it, why it is on the rise. But we are Sunni Muslim, but we follow the Sufi tradition, and Sufi are the mystics, part of Islam. But we are not just mysticism, but we also believe that Islam, our religion, has a place to play in our life and worldly life also, and guides us.
Yesterday we were talking about Sufism, and you were trying to explain to me a little bit about how you understand mysticism itself. Like, how would you define what a mystic is?
Basically, in the Holy Quran, the criteria of success is very clearly defined, and unfortunately, we Muslims do not. We claim that we follow Quran, but we don't follow Quran. The criteria of success in the Holy Quran is قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Man, the one who purifies inner self is the one who succeeds. So Sufism is about the purification of inner self, inner life, heart, mind, thoughts, intentions. And that is why Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he has said it very clearly that in our faith, the reward is not based upon your actions. The reward is based upon your intentions. God does not see your actions, God sees your intentions and your heart. And that's what Sufism is all about, to have our intentions clean, to have our inner self clean, and to purify, sanctify our minds and thoughts and inner self. Today, we Muslims focus on outside, exterior part of us, while in heart is not clean. And that's what the whole problem is.
I think sometimes we talk about that here in our community, about the distance sometimes between religion and just putting on a show and the faith that lives within us, that has real integrity and is the heart.
Exactly. The faith, which is, we call it Iman, in Arabic is called Iman. Faith is the source of not only a content life, a peaceful life, a happy life, but also it shows who you are. Our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has very clearly, in a very few words, he has defined who is a believer. He says a believer is the one who is not duality, that inside you are different and outside you look different. When you go in public, you pretend to be a very righteous and honest person, and when you are somewhere alone, you are a very wicked person and wrong person. So he said that no, a believer cannot be a dual. You cannot have a duality. And if I'm a dual person, and I have a different, faith says, then Quran says you are a hypocrite. So that's hypocrisy is quite prevailing in our society today. I'm not talking about any one faith, it is everywhere.
Yeah, so the quest becomes how then shall we live as people of integrity, where our inner life and our exterior life, our public life and our private life match.
Absolutely. And that's what it is. I mean, because we believe God, and we know as a Christian and Muslims and Jewish that God knows everything. We cannot hide from God. He sees us everywhere, whether we are in private or we are in public. And when you cannot hide from God, how you can deceive God? You cannot deceive God. You can deceive people because they do not see you everywhere. So it shows my belief, how strong I believe in God. While if I'm a hypocrite, if I'm doing something separate, different in private life and public life. And that's what Islam says, no. Your salvation depends on your inner self. And your exterior should reflect your inner self. So if my behavior, my dealing in the society, my treatment with my neighbors and my friends is not good, it means I'm bad from inside too. So inner self and outer self, or exterior, interior, has to be the same one. You cannot have two.
And the little I know about Islam, humbly, there's a powerful tenet of justice that when we relate in our exterior life, it's in a just manner with our neighbor. And you really lived that out. Tell us about that walk that you did across the country.
Yeah, back in 2008, I was planning, by the way, for a long time to walk across this country, beautiful country. And not only because I wanted to see Canada, but also it has been a Sufi tradition, by the way. If you look at the history of Sufis around the world, they have walked long distances, long distances. For example, you go to Indonesia, Malaysia, where there has been no wars, by the way. The Islam came to this part of the world through these Sufis, because they traveled, and all of them were not local people. You go to subcontinent, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, all those shrines of Muslim Sufis in India, which is a majority non-Muslim country, none of them were Indians, by the way. They all came either from Central Asia, from Middle East, from North Africa, and they settled down in subcontinent. They settled down in India, Indonesia, Malaysia. So Sufis have always walked long distances. And yes, exactly. And that's, I wanted to follow that tradition. And I walked across this country, and my walk was to let people know that what is going on around the world, especially in our homes. In our homes. I mean, we are talking about this terrorism. Yes, that is very dangerous, and we should speak against it. But what is going on in our homes? Domestic violence is a very big disease. And Muslims do not have a monopoly on domestic violence. In every religion, in every community, every ethnicity, there is domestic violence. So my work was against domestic violence, elder abuse, animal abuse, and of course terrorism and extremism. And I walked from Halifax to Victoria, and I have seen this beautiful country.
Really speaks to us, the community. Hillhurst, one of our core practices and values is social justice, and we really quest to strive as a community to put our feet to the path also and to walk that out. So it's beautiful finding that common ground and that similarity in a way that your religious community and our religious communities try to walk together for justice.
That's exactly. I mean, in Islam, I think a lot of people do not know. In Islam, there are two rights: the rights of God and rights of people. And it is the law in Islam that if God wants to forgive you because you did not fulfill God's rights, for example, you did not pray because we have some mandatory prayers. If I'm not praying, I'm not fulfilling the rights of God. If God wants to forgive, He can forgive. But if I have done wrong to a person, a human being, God will not forgive unless that person forgives. And that is Islamic law. So on the judgment day, this is Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as these are his teachings, and this is in the Holy Quran. On the judgment day, if God wants to forgive me that I was not a good Muslim in terms of not worshipping and not, remembering God, that if He wants to forgive me, He will forgive. But if I have hurt my neighbors, if I hurt any human being, if I have taken life, somebody's life, then that justice will be there. And God will not forgive unless the person I have done wrong to will forgive. And that's called hukukul ibad. Hukukul ibad supersede hukukul Allah. It means the rights of people supersede the rights of God. This is Islam. Because I have an obligation towards my family first. My neighbors, my friends, brothers and sisters, poor people, needy people. And that's why in Islam there is a mandatory charity. If I don't give that charity, then people have right in my money, but people have right in my money. And if I don't give their rights, I will be obligated in front of God on the judgment day. It's not my money, by the way. I mean, the Holy Quran, God never says it is your money. God says it is my money, I'm giving you. Exactly. The word in the Holy Quran is means I have given you your sustenance. And money is a part of sustenance. So I have given you your sustenance. But God says, I have given you your sustenance. Make sure you spend on people. Don't keep it to yourself.
Call us to be generous. How then shall we be generous people? Beautiful. Imam, the last question, if there were 3 things that you wanted us to know about Islam and your religious tradition, what would those 3 things be?
I mean, basically we have 5 pillars of Islam, which is basically rituals and actions. But if you ask me that what is the foundation of Islam, the foundation of Islam is the sanctity of life. And when these terrorists and extremists and these violent people are causing terrorism in the name of Islam and suicide bombing and those things, it just, I cannot believe that how can I call myself a Muslim and killing innocent people, even they are Christians or Jews or enemies, doesn't matter. Islam says saving one life as if you have saved the entire humanity. This is the Holy Quran. And killing one person as if you have killed the entire humanity. So sanctity of life is the first thing, that the foundation of Islam. Second is that what your faith, that you believe in God, you believe in the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, you believe in the Quran, make sure that you act accordingly. You don't become a hypocrite. Right? You just don't claim that I'm a Muslim and they do everything which goes against Islam, like ISIL and these guys are doing. And then sharing. Sharing not only my sustenance, the food and the money and the resources I have, but also my faith. And that's why I love to go to churches, because I want to share my faith.
So we're so glad that you were with us this morning. Thank you so much. Prof. Soharwardy.